Welcome in, welcome
Yep,
in.
yep.
The thermocell is cooking, and I am out here
There we
in the
go.
tent.
There we go.
Just try not to get bit. But thank you guys for joining us on a Wednesday. Been a,
Thank you.
to say the least, extremely weird Wednesday in the
Yes.
sports world,
Yeah.
which we will dive into shortly. But happy that you are here with us. And Tyler, how you doing today?
Ah, you know, been an interesting day. Obviously, we kind of had some things lined up we wanted to talk about, and then some other things happened. We kind of had to erase our notes and add in other things to talk about. I mean, I think it would be. I guess we can come out right here off the top and just kind of address kind of the big deal here is I'm sure everybody's heard uh, that Ronnie was playing an amazing round of golf and then had to end because the golf course went on fire. It's just I know
You
it's
know, the course couldn't handle me. That's what it was.
yeah
This is National City. Shout out to the 9-hole Muni down there. Got a little closer, and then you see that. And as I passed it, the hillside definitely on fire. So good times, but I believe no one was hurt.
good. That's
Um,
good.
but that's pretty much all I got out of that. Decent round. The fire kind of slowed me down. Not gonna
Well,
lie, I
yeah,
was
you
on a record, course record pace until the fire
right,
broke out, and then,
right.
I mean, how do you recover from something like that? But I
You
did
just
all I
don't.
could.
Yeah, that's just it. Look, you guys know we like to have a little, always try and keep things light. It's kind of why we what we just did. But it would be disingenuous if we didn't discuss what is the biggest breaking news story of the day. Um, Obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard about the NBA players. Well, it started with the NBA players boycotting the playoff games for tonight. The NBA did officially cancel it after the Bucks boycotted their early game. They then canceled the next two games, and that's kind of had a ripple effect into all sports. We've had three Major League Baseball games that have been I don't know if they're boycotted or postponed for the night.
I think officially postponed right
Just
now.
postponed for the night. Yeah, I think I did
Yeah.
see right before we went on the Dodgers said they're going to be playing again tomorrow. But that's also trickled over to the WNBA. They've postponed all their games for tonight. The MLS postponed their games for tonight. Some MLB players elected to sit out even though their teams played for the night. Obviously, in response, and it's not just to the Jacob Blake shooting that occurred. In the last few days, it's kind of just the overall, call for police reform that's been going on for a while. And again, guys, I know we like to keep things light, but we do have to address this, at least kind of, touch on it. I mean, I can say, I'm a guy that I've always looked to sports as kind of like the escape from everything in life. I would love it if sports could just be sports, but look, that's not the case. And I will say this: it's a hell of a platform if guys want to protest or make a statement. It is a hell of a platform. I mean, you can just see by the responses it's getting. Like, people are saying this is a good way to reach people because so many of us rely on sports for that daily escape. Again, I wish it could just be sports to sports, yes, but that's not the case. It's never really been that way. You can look back into look back 40, 50 years. There's always been able to make those statements, whether it's political or social issues, whatever. It's that's just kind of the way it is. Um, so I understand why the players do it, and I'm always for forms of peaceful protest. If I agree with you or not doesn't matter. I'm always for those protests. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. I mean, Ronnie, I don't know how you want to feel better if you want to touch on it, touch on the situation.
I mean, pretty much the same off the top that Tyler said. We're not going to dance around the fact, of what is going on here. And especially when it comes to the NBA, going into this bubble scenario, I think when Cease was on, we discussed, there was like a little side meeting with Kyrie Irving and a bunch of the players, like what would be, they're upset, obviously, with everything that's going on. Um, what would be the best way to, like, should we even show up there or should we play and have that platform? And things definitely coming to a head right now with the recent events. But Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it. If you're looking at a league that makes billions, literally billions of dollars, and it's 75%, you know, black men playing in that league, I don't think there's any way of dancing around that they're going to feel some type of way about just the ongoing thing. And then, that was before the George Floyd thing, everything going on before,
Mhm.
um, just happened in the last couple of days. But I, I'm not really in a position to, say. I know. The only thing I could say is the whole election climate is making everyone go completely crazy. But this is a different issue,
Yeah,
and I'm completely against the side of just removing, defunding the police, because good luck with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a real thing, and the Bucks kind of started it this afternoon, and it just rippled out, and so now we're here with pretty much no games going on this evening. But it's definitely something that deserves our attention. And again, there's no kind of tiptoeing around the issue here.
right.
This is something that's been going on for pretty much forever. And I mean, I've seen the video. I don't want to get into the this and that of everything that went on, but it was tough to watch. And now we're here, and the NBA players that did show up to the bubble were already kind of in that mode of using that as a platform.
Sure.
So I don't think there's any problem with that. Makes it tough to host a sports show, but again, that has nothing to do with our little like mini show here
Yeah,
in the
for sure.
grand scheme of things.
For sure.
I just wanted to, acknowledge, like Tyler said, what is going on, and definitely changes need to be made, because I can't be seeing this happen, on social media or on the news. Just it's terrible to see these kind of things. So uh, I don't know where that leaves us, but it's just not a great place right now. And the NBA, credit to them, for kind of kicking off this movement as far as just today specifically. But yeah, I mean, I think this was coming. I think this was coming for a while. Unfortunately, what happened was sort of the impetus for this today happening, but hopefully that's not the case going forward. But here we are.
Yeah, and I am kind of curious to see where this goes. Like I know I've read that the Raptors were kind of already in talks of boycotting just boycotting their series upcoming against the Celtics. Um, who knows how long this is going to happen. I see that the Lakers and Clippers, I think, have also been in talks about boycotting going forward. The Bucks issued a statement today just saying they're boycotting. They didn't say how long they intend this to be for. So I'm curious to see if this does just kind of cancel the entire NBA postseason. Um, it's certainly possible. Obviously, we don't know. We're going to know, more going forward. But just to kind of see where this goes from a sports perspective. And again, sports is the smaller issue in this, but it's kind of what it's that's why we're here, is because of sports. But it is a bigger issue at hand. But again, just kind of curious to see where it goes from there. I mean, MLB, like we said, they seem to, these seem to be kind of like just one day like solidarity protests. Maybe it's more going forward. Who knows? But just kind of real curious to see where we go from here.
Yeah, and I mean, I could definitely see. I feel like the MLB is somewhat. I don't. I want to say conveniently detached from this situation, but there is a very real possibility that the NBA playoffs could just be shut down.
Sure.
We don't know. Um, but I thought, and I also wanted to, share this video with you guys. Um, this was on Inside the NBA earlier this evening, about 2.5, 3 hours ago. Kenny the Jet Smith, he kind of just, in the same way that we've talked about it, he was like, I don't want to talk about it. It's just, I'm upset. And, in solidarity with the players, he walked off the set.
I think the biggest thing now is to kind of, as a black man, as a former player, I think it's best for me to support the players and just not be here tonight. And figure out what happens after that. I just don't feel equipped to do that.
And I respect that.
So, all right, Tyler, let's have a good show after that.
Yeah. Woo. All right.
All right.
Again, we do want to get back to kind of our like the normal, just kind of goofy, weird, asshole-ish style that we do, but we did have to address it. But definitely want to get on to the to more of the pressing sports news that we had planned to discuss before the events of today.
Before the golf course caught on fire. And,
yes, exactly.
Everyone boycotted, and here we are. So.
But I did want to I guess we could actually stay with the NBA. Last night the Clippers just really showed up against the Mavs. Playoff P, thank you for finally showing up instead of doing your usual, shooting less than 20% from the field. So he was like 12 of 18 with 35 points yesterday. Just really putting it on the Mavs. Luka didn't have himself the best game. He had an all right game, but man, just the Clippers team as a whole just really came up yesterday, showed off, and that's kind of what I was waiting for. I think what everybody was waiting for from that team is just that real dominant, all right, we're here, we're contenders, we're going to show it. They finally gave us that performance last night.
Yeah, I was pretty much expecting that from the Clippers. I was didn't know what kind of Mavericks team was going to show up because Porzingis was game time decision going in the morning. Luka definitely looked a little tired. Understandable. It completely went out of his mind on Sunday. Yeah. But they need a little bit more than just Luka to get past the team that's, clear cut. Could have been a number one seed in the West. So I want to believe that they could win one more game, maybe two, but I just think the Clippers got too much juice. I think the Clippers are going to take that and handle that. You saw the Lakers after the first game in their series sort of just like, all right, but now put their foot on the gas. We're the number one seed. Take over. And it's been no looking back since then. So I think the Clippers kind of in a similar mode, especially if Paul George gets going like we saw last night. The story of Luka is great, especially the Sunday game. But he doesn't have to worry. He's a bona fide going to be a star in this league for 10, 15 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the Clippers just got a little too much for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you look at most people's predictions, outside of the people that were kind of really feeling the Dame time, feeling the role of the Blazers, I think most people had a Lakers Clippers Western Conference final because look, as they've shown throughout the season, those are the two best teams in the West. There's a lot of really good teams in the West, but those two are a step above everybody else. And now these last few games, both teams has finally started to show it, and that's kind of what I've been looking for. Is all right, show me why you are the teams to be feared. Show me why you are the ones that everybody's picking. Again, it's nice that that Paul George finally decided to show up and have himself an all right game.
Playoff P, he's back, and who knows what that will result in going forward. I don't know. I don't don't know. Clippers are kind of an interesting, team to look at just because, yes, they have Kawhi and Paul George is going to be there for a while. Montrezl Harrell is going to be a free agent after this year, and I think, plenty of suitors coming after him.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, the Clippers with those two guys are going to be in the mix for years to come.
Sure.
But I think the Mavericks kind of putting them on the back foot, sort of putting them on their heels a little bit. Maybe gave the rest of the contending teams a little hope there that
Sure.
they can be beat. Doc Rivers, he's sort of I wouldn't say he's a taskmaster, but he's a pretty, without not quite being an iron fist coach, but, guy that knows everything that's going on within his team. I don't know. It was a little surprising just to see them take that on the chin on Sunday. And I think we're going to see them probably just brush the Mavs aside. But Luka, you're the real deal.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's going to be a question. Speaking of real deals, we did have a pretty exciting moment in Major League Baseball last night. The Chicago White Sox, Lucas Giolito throws the first no-hitter of the season. I say first as if that's going to happen. I mean, it might happen more times. Who knows?
Padres going to get that no-hitter.
You did make that combined no-hitter prediction.
That was my preseason prediction.
Yeah.
It would be the most Padres thing of all time to have that happen in a season that no one will, maybe give them credit for. So I still hold out hope. Paddock got rocked last night, but
yes, he did.
I'm still reaching for that rainbow.
But it was a hell of a performance from Giolito. I think he had 13 strikeouts against the Pirates. Who, I mean, look, it's you can always say it's just the Pirates, but I mean, look, no hitters don't happen all the time. Doing it against any major league team is pretty insane to, face at least 27 people and not allow one to get a hit against any major league team is absolutely insane. And again, Giolito just, before last night, he was having a pretty fairly rough time, but managed to put it together for one night and just put in the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, no, the White Sox have been a team that have been, hyped up as just a young team of they could do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously some breaks go your way in a no-hitter, but it's still, substantial that we have our first no-hitter in this 2020 season. So all props to him. And even if it is the Pirates, they are, big league players, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But, nothing to, sniff at.
No, definitely. And we'll kind of see what happens. Like I said, he's been struggling for most of the season, but had his good nights. And we'll see if this one kind of turns it around for him or if he kind of goes back to normal form. But definitely got to give props to anybody when they give a performance like that.
I kind of think, too, I mean, I was torn about this, thinking about it last night. Is it harder or easier to do that against major league players with no fans? Yes, he was at home, but I feel like when you're the pitcher, it's kind of like a golfer. It's you and your own thoughts. Like,
right.
You
You're
have
out there
a
on
lot
an island.
to. The silence might mess you up. So that's kind of impressive in its own way.
Yeah, that actually is a fair question because it is. I mean, players will say they tune out the noise, but I imagine at the very least that noise becomes at least like a background white hum where you can't just like completely ignore all the noise around you. So when you go out there and you just hear, I mean, you do get the piped in crowd, I suppose. But that's an interesting question. Would that be easier, harder to do without a crowd? I hadn't really thought about that.
I just thought, I mean, it can go kind of both ways. Like, all credit due. He got the first no-hitter of 2020, but a little bit, something to be said for that. Could be a little bit more awkward or weird for especially like I said, as a pitcher, you control the game. You control pretty much everything that happens when you have the ball. So
Right.
no fans. It's just kind of like all this time to think about what could go wrong.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like being a kicker when they call the timeout before you kick that field goal. It's like it's all in your head. It's just you on the island out there. On the island.
On the island. He helped Gilligan.
So one last piece of news we wanted to get to, which was kind of big news that came out yesterday, was that arguably top player in the world, at the very least top 3, I think if you ask anybody, Lionel Messi said that he wants out of Barcelona. So now kind of the bidding war between the probably 3 teams in the world that can afford him begins. Kind of the big rumors going on right now is that he will be going to Manchester City, which is a West Ham fan I am completely against. Already have enough trouble defending Man City with the lineup they have now.
Don't even worry because he's going to West Ham.
He's going to look at that. There we go.
Confirmed.
There we go.
Confirmed.
It's gonna be, West Ham is selling every player they have.
Come on, you Irons.
Messi's just going to play 1-on-11, which is basically what he is when he plays for Argentina, anyways. So I guess nothing new there. Let us have
West Ham might still get relegated, but we got Messi.
Got
Don't
Messi.
even
That's
worry,
all that
guys.
matters. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of where that goes. And I know there's been a lot of unrest in Barcelona with the Barcelona fans. I actually did see a news report a few hours ago indicating that fans were actually storming Camp Nou looking to get into the president's office because nobody's happy with him. But I'll kind of keep an eye on that story as it goes. But yeah, what do you think about Messi, possibly Messi in the Premier League?
I told Callan on his show today, I wish it wasn't City, but, financially, probably the most realistic outcome there.
Sure.
But I would like to see him go into the Premier League at some point. So, especially with the TV deal that they have, now in the U.S., where you can pretty much watch every Premier League game that you want to watch. Questions have been out there like, oh, Messi couldn't take the day in and out and the physical play in the Premier League. Never really believed in that because I think he's just that good.
Sure.
So, I mean, yes, he's in his twilight years, whatever, but I still want to see it happen, and I don't think he's just running to MLS at this point. He's not quite there. So, if it brings Messi over to into the Premier League, I'm down.
I'll just say that is a terrifying prospect of a front line of Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero, and Lionel Messi with Kevin De Bruyne at the midfield feeding them. Like, that is a terrifying, like, just an unfair prospect, really. But it's certainly possible. Again, I'm sure we'll hear more news of that as the European seasons kind of start getting on here in the next few weeks. But I actually see we're up against it. Ronnie, anything else you want to say before we got to get out of here?
No, thank you guys again for joining us as always. Hopefully, moving forward, have some brighter days. But all due respect to the obvious things that are going on in this country and the protests involved, I have no qualms with that. So, if it results in this, if people are talking about it, then it needs to be talked about. So, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, there you go. Well said, man. Well, here we go. Stick around here on the Quarantine Network. We got Ask Auntie Bev anything coming up. She probably might be going on live right about now. But love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the fire.